Welcome to our podcast on expanding your English vocabulary together.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in as we explore important words today.
Today we'll cover the words bully, brave, bravery, courageous, course, and courage to help new viewers be aware of these vocabs in our podcast. Bully is both a noun and a verb.
As a noun, it means someone who uses strength or influence to harm or intimidate others.
As a verb, it means to use strength or threats to intimidate someone. The school's new principal vowed to stop any bully on campus.
She stood up to the playground bully who stole sandwiches.
He was angry at the way the older kids bully the younger ones.
They would often bully him because of his accent.
The manager refused to bully employees with unrealistic deadlines.
Witnessing someone bully, an animal moved her to intervene.
Cyber-bully is just as harmful as physical intimidation.
Police are trained to address online bully situations delicately.
It's illegal for adults to bully minors under many jurisdictions.
He learned not to bully others after attending empathy training.
The term school bully refers to the most persistent tormentor.
She refused to be labeled as a bully after apologizing.
He regretted his actions once he realized he was the bully.
Communities unite to create anti-bully programs.
A true friend never allows someone to be bullied by others.
Teachers discourage any student from bully classmates.
Parents should not bully their children into submission.
The HR policy forbids any coworker from bully behavior.
Historical tyrants often bully nations into submission.
She reported the colleague who tried to bully her ideas.
Schools host assemblies to educate on anti-bully tactics.
New students fear that they might become targets of bully.
Discussing feelings helps victims of bully reclaim confidence.
Coaches will bench anyone caught practicing bully moves.
He realized playground bully scars can last into adulthood.
They created posters to warn students not to bully peers.
She refused to bully others even when pressured by friends.
Digital footprints leave evidence of any online bully activity.
Witnesses who stand by won't let you bully alone.
He needed counseling after experiencing repeated bully.
Legislation now mandates harsher penalties for adult bully.
The new Gamer Code of Conduct forbids toxic bully language.
She reported every incident to avoid any potential bully.
He felt empowered not to bully back after schooling his own anger.
As a verb, it felt wrong to bully someone smaller than you.
Learning to speak up against bully meant reclaiming their power.
Neighbors rallied to protect children from a neighborhood bully.
He taught his dog not to bully smaller animals in the park.
She reminded herself not to bully herself with negative self-talk.
That wraps up our deep look at the word bully and how it impacts lives.
Brave is an adjective.
It describes someone who shows mental or moral strength to face danger, fear, or difficulty.
The firefighter made a brave entry into the burning home.
She felt brave stepping on stage for her solo performance.
It takes a brave soul to skydive for the first time.
He was brave enough to apologize after the mistake.
Donating blood was a brave act for someone terrified of needles.
She wrote a brave letter to her former partner denying bitterness.
The soldier's brave conduct earned him a medal.
He was brave to change careers at 40.
Volunteers in refugee camps show brave compassion daily.
She spoke with brave honesty about her struggles.
He faced the uphill climb with a brave grin.
The child's brave refusal to cry calmed everyone.
The climber made a brave attempt despite worsening weather.
She remained brave even while delivering the eulogy.
Standing alone in court, he gave a brave testimony.
The writer made a brave choice to publish personal essays.
Admitting mental illness took brave vulnerability.
She looked brave holding the rescued kitten.
He was brave to challenge outdated company policies.
Facing old fears require brave determination.
A brave champion never backs down from a challenge.
She wore a brave smile despite pain.
The cyclist made a brave sprint toward the finish line.
She offered a brave defense of her controversial artwork.
The whistleblower's action was brave and risky.
Writing a novel about trauma demanded a brave heart.
The young activist staged a brave protest alone.
She gave a brave apology that healed old wounds.
Admitting faults publicly requires a brave spirit.
The astronaut felt brave floating above Earth.
He performed the brave deed of saving the drowning swimmer.
She took the brave initiative to fix the broken system.
The whistleblower's speech was both brave and impactful.
She gave a brave wink before the nerve-wracking interview.
The brave knight charged first into battle.
She wrote a brave song about her recovery journey.
His brave refusal to capitulate inspired his comrades.
She rode horseback in a brave display of confidence.
The protesters stood in brave solidarity under torrential rain.
That's how we use brave to honor acts of courage and strength.
Bravery is a noun.
It refers to the quality or state of having or showing courage.
The rescue diver was honored for his bravery in stormy seas.
She thanked her friend for the bravery to speak out.
Historical tales celebrate the bravery of battlefield heroes.
He praised her bravery in quitting a toxic job.
The community erected a statue commemorating their bravery.
Her poem captured the quiet bravery of single parents.
Fire departments showcase bravery in their memorials.
The award recognized years of firefighting bravery.
He described nature's raw bravery in surviving harsh climates.
Her speech praised the bravery of frontline healthcare workers.
Arctic explorers' journals highlight their bravery in the ice.
She wrote about the bravery in admitting personal faults.
Bravery awards honor everyday acts of kindness in crisis.
He admired the bravery of whistleblowers risking careers.
Community leaders praised the children's bravery during the flood.
She documented volunteers' bravery in war zones.
They shared stories of women's bravery in history.
The ceremony highlighted cross-generational bravery.
He felt humbled by veterans' bravery in combat.
Her novel explores moral bravery in everyday choices.
Rescue dogs demonstrate bravery searching through rubble.
She celebrated whistleblowers' bravery in her article.
The film's portrayal of medical bravery moved audiences.
He wrote essays on the bravery needed to pursue art.
Victims' bravery in testimonies changed laws.
She taught that true bravery includes kindness.
He wore his Medal of Bravery with pride.
She referenced human rights bravery in her keynote.
The expedition's bravery was chronicled in journals.
She wrote of emotional bravery confronting addiction.
The captain's bravery saved stranded sailors at sea.
She studied acts of bravery in mythology.
Their collective bravery ensured the plan's success.
He launched a foundation to honor civic bravery.
Teachers extol the bravery of civil rights activists.
The documentary showcased acts of bravery.
He drew parallels between physical and moral bravery.
She believed compassion could be our greatest bravery.
Heroes' memorials recount their timeless bravery.
That's how bravery shapes our understanding of heroism.
Courageous is an adjective.
It describes someone who shows or behaves with courage.
The firefighter made a courageous rescue during the inferno.
She delivered a courageous speech defending human rights.
He made a courageous decision to leave his secure job.
The governor's courageous stance on reform surprised critics.
A courageous explorer ventured into the uncharted jungle.
She wrote a courageous article exposing corruption.
The student's courageous act of whistleblowing saved lives.
His courageous climb of the mountain inspired many.
They praised her courageous ordeal through chemotherapy.
The commander's courageous charge turned the battle tide.
She made a courageous plea for mental health awareness.
Volunteers made courageous trips into flood zones.
He showed a courageous confrontation of bullying.
The journalist's courageous investigation led to arrests.
Her courageous refusal to lie protected victims.
They led a courageous revolution against tyranny.
The athlete made a courageous comeback after injury.
He performed a courageous stunt for charity.
A courageous pilot navigated through extreme turbulence.
She displayed courageous empathy during crisis counseling.
The community's courageous solidarity held firm.
His courageous art installation sparked debate.
The doctor's courageous trial saved hundreds of patients.
She made a courageous first step toward reconciliation.
A courageous parent stood up to school bullies.
He made a courageous financial gamble that paid off.
The teacher's courageous method improved learning.
She took a courageous stand against injustice in court.
They launched a courageous campaign for disabled rights.
His courageous compassion comforted the grieving family.
The soldier's courageous act earned him the highest honor.
She made a courageous leap from her comfort zone.
The volunteer's courageous efforts saved endangered species.
He wrote a courageous memoir detailing survival.
A courageous negotiator brokered peace under fire.
She made a courageous apology before the public.
The witness's courageous testimony changed the trial.
His courageous innovation transformed the industry.
She wore a courageous smile despite adversity.
That completes our look at courageous, celebrating bold action.
Coarse is an adjective.
It means lacking refinement or delicacy. Rough.
The sand on that beach is very coarse, unpleasant to walk on barefoot.
He used a coarse cloth to scrub the dirty grill.
Some critics described his humor as coarse and inappropriate for children.
The steak was overcooked and tasted coarse and tough.
She regretted using coarse language in front of her students.
That yarn is too coarse for delicate knitting projects.
The terrain became coarse with jagged rocks and loose gravel.
He disapproved of the movie's coarse dialogue.
They installed coarse filters on the water pump to block large debris.
The moisturizer felt coarse on her dry skin.
Critics called the painting's brushstrokes coarse compared to its peers.
She regretted the haircut's coarse finish, requesting a smoother look.
The novels included coarse descriptions that some readers found shocking.
The gravel driveway felt coarse under her high heels.
He chose a finer grain wood instead of the coarse planks provided.
The speaker's accent sounded coarse to untrained ears.
She slipped on the coarse tiles near the pool.
The wind left her hair tangles coarse and knotted.
They replaced the coarse sandpaper with a finer grit for finishing.
He avoided the path because the gravel was too coarse for his bicycle tires.
The soap caused a coarse lather that dried her hands.
He remarked on the fabric's coarse texture in his review.
The climber felt the cliff's coarse surface under his gloves.
She apologized for her coarse joke at the evening party.
Geologists study the coarse grains in volcanic rocks.
The wind's coarse drafts through the broken window.
He avoided the path because the gravel was too coarse for his bicycle tires.
She avoided coarse humor around her conservative relatives.
The feedback called the film's pacing coarse and unpolished.
He purchased a finer blend coffee after complaining about the coarse grind.
She found the exercise routine coarse without proper instructions.
He restored the statue's coarse stone finish for authenticity.
The pottery's surface felt coarse due to clay impurities.
The villagers warned of a coarse wind that could damage crops.
She disliked the coarse terrain of the rugged trail.
He preferred smooth finishes over coarse edges in his carpentry.
The newly printed paper had a somewhat coarse grain.
She corrected the photo's coarse resolution in post-processing.
The mattress felt oddly coarse and uncomfortable overnight.
That covers the many faces of the word course in context.
Courage is a noun.
It refers to the ability to confront fear, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation.
Emergency responders display incredible courage every day.
She summoned courage to stand up against injustice.
The novel celebrates the courage of ordinary people in crisis.
He admires his friend's courage after her cancer treatment.
Climbing the steep mountain trail required true courage in the freezing wind.
She wrote about emotional courage in seeking therapy.
Parents praise children's courage when they try new activities.
The documentary highlighted wartime courage among civilians.
He found courage in the support of his community.
She used small acts of courage to overcome social anxiety.
Scientists need courage to challenge established theories.
He awarded medals for courage on the battlefield.
Novelists often fictionalize great acts of courage.
She recalled her grandmother's courage during hard times.
Equipping students with courage helps them speak up in class.
He spoke of everyday courage in choosing honesty.
The leader's courage united the community in crisis.
She told stories of her mother's courage fleeing conflict.
Volunteers show courage entering disaster zones.
She found courage to confront her boss about harassment.
Acts of courage in history inspire future generations.
He described nurses' pandemic courage in his article.
Winning the award felt like recognition of his courage.
She teaches that kindness requires courage.
They celebrated the firefighters' courage with a parade.
She wrote letters praising wartime courage.
He reflected on his own moments of courage in adversity.
The coach instilled courage in athletes facing tough opponents.
She awarded certificates for courage to students.
He documented anonymous acts of courage in his blog.
The book's hero exemplified virtuous courage.
She told of her mother's courage fleeing war.
He believes small choices display remarkable courage.
She researched philosophical definitions of courage.
Their speeches honored ultimate courage of the fallen.
He found inner courage through meditation.
The statue's plaque recounted feats of courage.
That's our in-depth look at courage and its many expressions.
That concludes our deep dive into these 6 essential English expressions.
We hope you feel confident using bully, brave, bravery, courageous, course, and courage in your conversations.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more vocabulary insights next time.
Goodbye and keep practicing every day.